You know what hurts the most? When they act like your silence is peace, but really it's exhaustion. You're not holding things in because you're calm. You're holding things in because no one ever listens when you speak. You're the sibling who always keeps it together. The one who keeps things light so nobody else has to feel heavy. The one who hides the shake in your voice just so theirs can stay steady. You fix things, even when you're not the one who broke them. You reach out first, say sorry first, move on first. Not because they deserve it, but because you're scared of what happens when you don't. The tension, the silence, the guilt. And deep down, you've started to believe that if you don't step up, no one else will. If you have that kind of heart, the kind that would rather hurt quietly than watch someone else fall apart, this is for you only. You've carried the weight of other people's comfort, even when it made you disappear. But let's be honest, sometimes it feels like love, and sometimes it feels like a trap. They call you strong, but really they mean convenient. They call you mature, but really they mean silent. And when you finally say what you need, suddenly you're the selfish one. Ta once stayed quiet during a fight with her sister just to keep the peace. Days passed. Nothing changed. When she finally spoke up and said, "I didn't deserve that," her sister rolled her eyes and said, "It's always about you." That's when Ta realized being the bigger person doesn't work if the other person's committed to staying small. You don't need to shrink to make space for people who refuse to grow. And starting today, you don't need to carry what was never yours to hold. Have you ever stayed awake after an argument, writing paragraphs in your head but never sent them, just so they wouldn't say you were doing too much? That's what being the bigger person feels like. You bottle everything up because you're tired of being misunderstood, tired of explaining basic respect like it's some complicated emotion. The sign you've been doing this too long, you start questioning your reactions. You feel anger rise and immediately tell yourself, "No, don't start anything." You feel sadness build and whisper, "You're fine, stop being dramatic." You talk yourself out of your own truth just to keep someone else comfortable. And it's not just siblings, it's boyfriends, girlfriends, friends. Anyone who's seen you choose them over yourself too many times. They think you'll never leave because you never have. But that's the danger of always being the bigger person. They think they're irreplaceable. Ta once wrote out a message to her boyfriend that said, "I don't feel seen when I'm hurting." She deleted it, thought it was too much. A week later, he broke up with her, said she'd been acting distant. And the worst part? He never asked why. But here's the unexpected truth. The love you give to others doesn't mean anything if you starve yourself of that same kindness. You're allowed to need support. You're allowed to ask for effort. And if that makes you too much for them, maybe they were never enough for you. You don't always have to fix it. Sometimes the strongest thing you can do is nothing at all. If you find yourself saying, "I'm fine," just to keep them from getting upset, this is for you. You've learned that your pain makes people uncomfortable, so you hide it like it's something shameful. You cry in private. You smile in public. And they call you the easy one, the chill one. But they don't realize how much that silence has cost you. You've apologized for having needs, made peace with being overlooked. And the most heartbreaking part, you've convinced yourself that this is just what love looks like, that maybe the problem is you, that maybe you are too sensitive. But it's not you, it's the way they've trained you to shrink. The sign that you're finally waking up, you start getting angry, not loud, not messy, just quietly angry. You notice the little things now, how they only call when they need something, how they dismiss your feelings with a joke, how they've never once said, "What do you need right now?" Ta once said to her friend, "I don't think you've ever asked how I was doing unless I looked broken." That friend didn't respond. She never did again. And for the first time, Ta didn't chase the silence. The truth? If you keep showing up for people who don't even notice when you're gone, you'll forget what it feels like to be chosen. You don't have to yell to be heard. Sometimes walking away says everything they weren't willing to listen to. If you have that soft heart that notices everything but says nothing, this is for you only. You've become a master at picking up on moods, reading between the lines, checking the tone of every "I'm fine." You do this because no one ever did it for you. You had to become emotionally fluent just to survive relationships where no one bothered to learn your language. And now, you attract people who love how safe you feel, but never ask what it costs you to be that safe. You say, "I'm okay," so quickly now, it doesn't even register how automatic it is. But you're not okay. You're worn down. Because being the bigger person isn't just exhausting, it's lonely. You start wondering if anyone would still choose you if you stopped performing, if you stopped making everything easier for everyone. The sign you've outgrown this? You stop answering immediately. You let the message sit. You give yourself time. You let them wonder. Because suddenly you're realizing your silence doesn't mean weakness. It means you've finally run out of energy to explain what they should have noticed on their own. Ta once told her boyfriend, I know you love me when I'm happy, but do you love me when I'm hurting? Or do you just tolerate me until I fix myself again? He didn't answer. That silence was her answer. You're allowed to want someone who sees your strength and your softness, who doesn't wait for you to break before offering help, who doesn't call you dramatic when you speak your truth. You don't owe anyone the version of yourself that makes them comfortable. You can stop translating your pain for people who don't even try to listen. Your kindness is for people who know how to protect it. You're not too sensitive. You're not overthinking. You're the sibling who's been carrying emotional weight that no one else wants to hold. You've become so good at staying composed that people forget you bleed too. But just because you're quiet doesn't mean you're unaffected. There's a moment where it clicks. When you realize they don't care like you do, that they don't remember the fights, that they sleep peacefully while you stare at the ceiling, wondering what you could have said better. You've lowered your standards so much just to keep people close. You've taken blame that wasn't yours. You've laughed at pain just to make it easier for them to stay. But what if the strongest thing you can do now is to stop? To stop being the one who bends, the one who texts first, the one who fixes everything while no one checks if you're okay. Ta once walked away from someone she loved, not because she didn't care, but because she was the only one caring. She said, I still love him, but I love myself more now. And that was the freedom she'd been looking for her whole life. You don't need to be the bigger person anymore. You need to be the healed one, the peaceful one, the one who finally chooses themselves. And if no one ever tells you this, I will. You did your best. Now go rest.